Hey guys, it's me Tico, and today I'm taking a look at something that I've never tried before, a Bachmann model. More specifically, a Bachmann Branchline GWR Small Prairie. I've only ever bought models from Hornby up until last year. Then I saw a listing for a Small Prairie for a pretty good price on the old Hatton's website. The price I paid for this model was around $75, which is a pretty good deal. Before taking a look at the model itself, here is a brief history of the GWR Small Prairies. The 4575 class were a class of Prairie-type tank engines built during the early 1900s. With major similarities to the 4500 class, differences like the taller water tanks that sloped near the front made these engines recognizable from their sister class. Being an overall beefed-up version of the 45XX, the 4575 class locomotives worked frequently on branch lines and local services. However, as time went on, these little yet powerful tank engines would soon be replaced by more capable diesel multiple units, with the last one being withdrawn in 1964. Only 5 remain in preservation, and unfortunately my example, number 5500, was not one of them. With that out of the way, let's move on to the subject of today's video, the Bachmann Branchline Small Prairie. Let's start off with the construction of the model itself. The body is mostly plastic, with the running board being made of metal. This gives it a real sense of weight and allows for the pulling power to be a lot higher than if it had a completely plastic body. The wheels and side rods appear to be made of cast metal, which I personally prefer to the metal tire and plastic insert that Hornby does with their wheels of their models. It has a beefy metal chassis that no doubt holds most of the weight. When it comes to detail, this locomotive is pretty solid in that regard. The detail is mostly consisted of molded parts, but the quality of the molding is to a high enough standard that makes these details appear separately fitted. Many of the actually separately fitted details are made of metal, like the handrails, lamp irons, and a pair of pipes on top of the boiler. The coal in the bunker looks decent, and other things like the whistles are pretty finely molded. Speaking of the whistles, they are painted in this brass color, which is also applied to the safety valve bonnet. On some versions of the model, the chimney has a copper top to it, but on my version it's still made of metal, but it's fully painted black. As you can probably see, this engine has been painted in a British Railways unlined black. I originally wanted to go for a BR green version, but I preferred to go with the cheaper option. This, however, does help those little painted details contrast a bit more against the rest of the engine, like the buffer beams. Painted in a nice solid red, these metal sprung buffers stand out against the rest of the locomotive. The British Railways early crest and the number plate are crisply printed onto the tanks, and add a little something to the otherwise plain livery. With that being said, let's move on to the running qualities of this model. This engine can do a decent crawl at not too slow of a speed, but it's surprisingly smooth. Of course, at the faster speeds it becomes a lot smoother. The pulling power of this model is really impressive, despite it being a small tank engine. Overall, this is a very nice little tank engine. With decent detail and running qualities, this is probably my favorite tank engine in my current collection. This is all the more impressive when you consider that this model was released in 2004. At the price I paid for this engine, I'm completely satisfied with what I got. Personally, I would give this model an 8 out of 10. With a little more metalwork and a slightly better detail, this engine would probably be perfect. If you ever see a listing for this engine going for under $100, then I completely recommend this engine to you, if that's what you're looking for. Finally, to end off this video, we're going to enjoy this engine having her long-deserved running session. Hope you all enjoy. I forgot the fucking code. Well, thank you everyone for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this review of this amazing little model, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon. Have a wonderful rest of your day, everybody.